ZZ109FM Talk Radio. This is Elsie Jenkins. It's a beautiful year to be alive, 2026. And world of uncertainty going on right now. Lord have mercy. Got an amazing show for you today. Pay attention. Get your notepad out and pay damn attention. In the studio to help us out with this amazing information is 10th grade education Bob. Bob, how you doing over there?
Oh, Miss Jenkins, I'm doing good. Got my 18 shots of vodka, and I am ready for this talk radio show.
Well, we're here. We're alive. It's a blessing. And we're here on this planet. If you're blessed to be able to work and share that experience with another person, a partner in life, it can be an amazing ride. Now, for some, not so amazing. Some people don't even make it through. A lot of relationships end in divorce. We gets it. But if somehow you make it through, there's this pot of gold we all think we're going to see at the end of the rainbow. After doing my research here, I'm gonna be honest with you. Doesn't look like a pot of gold to me. So that's important to understand that rainbow. It gives you the expectation that something's at the other end, but in reality, when you get there, it might only be one or two pieces of gold. So if you wasted a whole lifetime trying to follow that rainbow to that pot of gold, and once you get there, you look at yourself and you're 80 years old, you've actually wasted a lot of time chasing something that wasn't really there. So that brings you to this information that we're talking to today about Social Security. A lot of misconceptions about Social Security. I remember watching Fred Sanford and Grady had a $250 Social Security check sent to him 3 times by mistake, and he was happy as hell. Of course, eggs back then cost 50 cents a carton, but didn't matter. He was happy as hell to get 3 Social Security checks. Well, here we are. We're going to talk about this system, Social Security, so you understand what this system is about, because I really didn't understand this system until someone in my family passed away. And I started asking questions, because a lot of times we just assume things. And that's not good. You need to know and have knowledge of things versus assuming things in life. Like Bob, assuming that being a 10th grader for most of your life is appropriate.
I thought this show ain't supposed to be about me.
It's not about you, Bob. It's just the fact that it fits right into the show. You assuming you can be in 10th grade the rest of your life. You know what? That's not appropriate assumption. Nonetheless, Social Security. So we're assuming this is extra money for us to help us out, after we stop working. Well, it is and it isn't. So let's go into this. It's very simple information. If you don't understand, find somebody around you to explain it to you, because I can't explain it any simpler than this. First, we think that Social Security is a large pot of money that sits there, and we do all this work, put all this money into it, and then we've got a potential pot for Elsie Jenkins to utilize once I stop working. Wrong answer. The designers of this system, and I think they're absolute fools, have created a pay-as-you-go system. meaning that everyone that's currently working are paying for those that are currently receiving benefits. So, the idea that the money's going to run out only holds weight if no one goes to work. Because that's how the money's being generated to pay out people through current working people. Now, just to look at that system, it needs to be revamped to where it also is covered within a tax. Because, as far as I'm concerned, you need something a little bit more durable than just people working. Those numbers go up and down, they fluctuate. But if you implement a Social Security tax of 5 cents, 4 cents, then it means that anyone in America utilizing the system in America pays into it, whether you use it or not. And that guarantees an increase, a build of some type of an account. You don't have to have a rocket scientist degree to figure these things out, but these Republican people with educations and Democrat people with educations can't figure this shit out. Moving right along. Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system. So if you thought that you put all this money in and worked all this money into an account, it doesn't work like that. You accumulate points. It's almost like the old food stamp program where you got so many food stamps you could go to the store and get something for free, like a pot, a t-shirt, a cooking set. You just get enough points and then you get a certain amount of money per month. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, when we look at this system, one thing I realize about the system is we don't communicate between spouse, husband, wife, husband, wife, wife. I gotta cover all that because y'all are doing it. But we don't communicate this information that we're talking about today. It's important because the system looks at you and it says one of you make more than the other. 9 times out of 10, it's the man. And 9 times out of 10, his Social Security is going to be higher. If it's a woman that's making the most, then that's the case where hers is higher. But this is important as we continue to talk about this stupid system that's in place. Now, before I go any deeper, let's start from the basics. You've got 2 people that pay into this pay-as-you-go system, but it really doesn't create a bank account. But they all receive points, husband and wife, or whatever. Now, once you become qualified to retire, you pick your date you want to do it. You can do it early, you can do it late, you can do it at the very end. Each option gives you a little bit more per month. That's all it does. But when you, the first spouse, decides to do it, and then the second spouse decides to do it, you receive whatever you worked for. So if the husband gets $2,000 a month, because he's worked the most and has got the most points and got the most amount, and then the wife, she retires and she gets $1,200 a month, because that's how much she's worked for. She didn't make as much money as the husband. Then they have a total of $3,200 together every month to live off of. It's that simple. So, when one spouse passes away, we've always thought that you're going to get 2 checks. the wife is going to keep her check and the husband is going to keep his check. And the wife's going to keep the husband's check, giving her a grand total of $3,200 a month to help her survive on the planet. Because that's what they were using to survive with prior to him passing. It only makes sense. And let's say it only cost them $3,000 together to live comfortably and cover all their bills and have $200 left over to save with. We're assuming that she's going to be okay because she's going to have her Social Security and she's going to have his Social Security, a total of $3,200. Wrong. It doesn't work that way. This is how it works. Social Security updates the benefits when a spouse dies. When one spouse passes away, Social Security does not pay 2 full checks to the surviving spouse. Instead, the system switches to what is called a survivor benefit. You only receive one monthly benefit, and that's the one that is higher between the two. Your Social Security amount. So the husband was getting $2,000 and the wife was getting $1,200. It's not going to be $3,200 to help her out. It's going to be $2,000. That's called the survivor portion of the spouse's benefit. Now, you can imagine someone dealing with the passing of a loved one, and you have to go through all these motions and file all these documents and submit all these death certificates to all these different areas. And when they stop your Social Security and restart your Social Security, you find that it only goes up $800. And now you're missing $1,200 to take care of your bills. And this is on the low end. This is two people that just went to work and thought that they were going to work together to get to that day where they could get Social Security and be able to sit back and enjoy life. Well, I hope your bills aren't more than $2,000 a month, because if you're living from Social Security check to check, your income of $3,200 has now dropped to $2,000. This is a problem for people that don't communicate about what we're communicating about today. This is a very big problem, because now you're under the impression that you're going to be able to get $3,200, and when you see the change and all the bills on the table that you have to deal with, and 9 times out of 10, the main spouse doesn't talk about all those bills that they've been paying all these years. You're learning for the first time about these bills, like the home insurance, flood insurance. You're learning about the taxes paid on the home. Your home may be paid for, but you still got to pay taxes on a home in your city because of a corrupt system we live in. Why should you keep paying on a house that you've paid off to please the city that you live in? That's why. Nothing ever belongs to you in this system that we live in. But it seems like the government keeps all of your money that you invested in over all these years. You feel you've been working 3 jobs and putting away, and you should have a whole lot of money inside of an account that you should be able to go and utilize anytime you want to. You work for 30, 40, 50 years. But the reality is you're in a pay-as-you-go system. You've been paying for everybody else to get checks for 50 damn years. And now you are waiting for these people to go to work so you can get your money. Now, on the ha ha he he funny note, I look at some of these young people around here renting rooms from me. They can't get their ass up and go to work. They can't get their ass up and go to work and help me get my damn Social Security money. If you don't go to work, I don't get my Social Security money for that thing. That's the problem with this system. I'm relying on these arrogant, lazy ass Negroid people around me to go to work so I can get my percentage of my Social Security money that they take out every payday. I don't have a fund or an account with $500,000 in it because I've made over $1 million for you, United States government, and you're telling me there's no money in an account for Elsie Jenkins. This is ridiculous. And we don't talk about this pay-as-you-go system. This is the worst idea ever. Because if people don't work, no one gets paid. And that's how this system is set up. The money you and your spouse paid in over the years was used to pay current retirees, not saved in an account with your name on it. When one spouse dies, the system only pays one benefit, not two, because it's designed around the idea that households need one income after one spouse passes. Who thought of this idea? What idiot thinks that because two incomes now go down to one, you can still support yourself with the one income that two incomes was handling? Who has this idea? And why hasn't this been addressed in the last 50 years? In the last 25 years? It made sense if the prices of things didn't go up, but the prices of things have skyrocketed almost 1,000% since the 70s and 80s and 90s. So, in the perspective, it feels like two people paid into this system for years, and now you have nothing. You have nothing at the end of the system. You only are getting what people wake up and go to work and put into it. Every time they get their deductions, there's your little bit of money coming out, and then your check comes at the end of the month. In this pay-as-you-go system, we're relying on these young people, middle people, and still working old people to go to work so we can get our Social Security money. It's the worst system I've ever came across. And for somebody to stay with another person for 40 or more years, to live comfortably, and then be uprooted financially because they pass away. It's more important than ever to make sure that you have invested your money, that you have bought life insurance to compensate for these type of situations. There has to be some type of secondary option besides Social Security. It's not going to cover your bills if that's what you assumed it was going to do. So let's go over this again. After the working spouse dies, the surviving spouse receives one benefit, and it's going to be the higher of the two. And in our case, the man's getting $2,000, the woman's getting $1,200. Now, if a woman doesn't work or a man doesn't work ever, you can still get a benefit. You'll get 50% of the higher spouse's benefit. So if this lady didn't work, she would still get $1,000. Or if the man didn't work, married still, he would get $1,000 when it's time for Social Security. So that's a plus. But if the man dies then that person would not get 2,000, even though they didn't work. So that's a plus. That's the only positive thing about Social Security. And she only gets one check. It's not going to be 3,000. And you may have been living off of 3,000 to survive, cover all your bills. But now this person has to drop down to 2,000 in an economy that keeps going up. So imagine someone having to pay a $750 electric bill, and all you have now is $2,000 to decide on who to pay. It's impossible. Math doesn't lie. So it's pretty simple. If no one works but they're married, you're gonna get something. You're not out of the water like a fish. Bob, what do you think about this system?
I must start keeping more money in my piggy bank. This system don't even sound right.
It don't sound right. The bottom line is this: a non-working spouse, even though you don't work, you take care of the kids, you can still get half of your husband's Social Security while he's alive. So that's a good thing. Being a housewife is not the end of the world. You can still get $1,000 a month Social Security as long as he's alive. And if he passes, you've been a housewife, guess what? Housewives aren't out of the water. They're going to get $2,000 a month. You're going to get that full amount that the husband was getting. But you're not going to get 3,000. It's not going to be two checks. Like we always thought you're going to get two checks. And some of these women around me scheming on their men. Just talking about, yeah, I'm going to get my husband's Social Security and my Social Security. Well, now you know. You know you ain't getting only but one check. And that's the higher of the two. Scheming on their husbands. What's wrong with these damn heifers? Makes no damn sense. So the question was about annuities and pensions from private companies. Do these reduce your Social Security? Luckily, if you are on the side investing in the 401ks, IRAs, or you have a private company pension or an annuity, that these are the ways to have additional money without affecting your Social Security number. So this scenario where you have the 2,000 from the man and 1,200 from the woman is not a bad scenario if you've taken a small portion of your money and invested in the 401k, the IRA, or if you have a pension from a second job and a third job, then those are going to be on top of your Social Security money and an annuity. You have an annuity, that's going to help you. That's going to help you get the additional income you need to be comfortable in a time where prices are rising. Thank goodness there's a light at the end of the damn tunnel. Now, the only downfall is government pensions, non-Social Security jobs where they didn't take out money. So if you have any job like you're a landscaper and they're not taking out money for Social Security, you're in trouble if you landscape all your life. And then you want to sit back and relax and retire. Unless you're married to a spouse that's been working in the system, the most you're going to get is half of what they get. So if they get 1,000, 2,000, you're going to get 1,000 because you're the spouse. You didn't work, but you're going to get half of what they get if you file for Social Security when they do. But if you're out here by yourself and you're not paying into the Social Security system, you're not going to get anything. You don't have any spouse to be able to draw benefits off of. And if you don't put into the system and get enough points, you're not going to have any Social Security money once you get of age to file. And you can see the two programs here, the WEP program and the GPO. If you have any of these programs, they don't take out for Social Security benefits, and it will reduce your benefits if you have any of these options. It's always something to stop you from having something with this Social Security. Like income, while you're still working, you can collect it before your retirement age, but it's going to be at a reduced amount because you're working. They're going to hold that against you because you're working. You get less Social Security. What the hell is wrong with these people? You get all the money that's coming to you, and because you're working, that's a benefit. You can still work. Now, once you get of a certain age, you can work all you want to. And that rule needs to be changed. As soon as you qualify for Social Security, you should get that full amount. And if you can still work, you should still be able to get your paycheck. They call it double dipping. But you know what? It's not double dipping. You're doing everything you can to make sure that you can be comfortable on this planet without robbing and stealing from people. And that's all it is. Hell is wrong with these stupid people. And you know what it is? It's the fact that these people that set up these rules are making six figures. They're not worried about Social Security. They're very, very comfortable. They have the money to be able to put away in 401s and stock and buy gold and bonds and diamonds and jewelry. They have the money to invest so that when they do get to this point, they're not worried about that Social Security check. They've got annuities. They've got stocks, bonds. They've got hundreds and thousands of dollars in investments they invested in. They had the money to do it. If every American had the money to do it, we would do it. It doesn't make any damn sense. This system doesn't make any damn sense. But this is the one that we are stuck with right now until we get some young minds in there that can fix the problem. So the bottom line is this: private annuities or retirement income does not reduce your Social Security. So these are the things you need to be reaching for outside of Social Security. And if you have a government pension that didn't invest into the Social Security, which was ridiculous, you're setting people up for failure when you do that. With a system that we have that's clear, then it can reduce your Social Security. And if you want to work before you can be of retirement age, you'll get your Social Security, but they're going to reduce it based on the money that you're making from your job. And once you stop working, it will go up. But that's still bullshit. This whole system is garbage. So let's go to the finalization of this entire situation here. 2 Social Security checks are used on top of whatever else you have to survive on this planet. But if someone passes away, that myth that you're going to have 2 checks does not exist. Whoever the surviving spouse is, they're going to receive the higher of the 2 checks, and you're not going to get 2 checks. So remember, our scenario, the man had $2,000, the woman had $1,200. They would get in $3,200. But when he dies, she's only going to get $2,000. And what's messed up about this is if the man dies, guess how much he's going to get? $2,000. So I'm like, hold the hell up. A man ought to be upset. Lord have mercy. You ought to be upset. You don't get nothing if your woman dies. So you better have life insurance on her ass, because if you die, your Social Security don't go up. Who thought of this idea? How is it that the man's Social Security don't go up, but the woman's does? This system is ass 1960s backwards. And someone needs to look at it and really take a fixing of this system. It's ridiculous. How does a man not get any increase if his wife passes away is beyond me. My goodness. So we've already covered this. Husband $2,000, wife $1,200, $3,200. Most people work off of that amount. They live and survive off of that amount. But guess what? When that man dies, she's only going to have $2,000 to work with. And that's sad. And you can think about it. Anyone that's losing a spouse, in 2026, if this is the money you were getting to survive today, now she's dropping down to $2,000. How the hell is she going to pay a $759 electric bill? Doesn't make any sense. Remember, when you're young, you need to invest in IRAs. You need to invest in annuities, bonds. You need to invest. It's going to pay off in the end. And insurance. Buy insurance when you're young. If you buy insurance when you're young, it's dirt cheap. And it's going to stay that price as long as you live on the planet. So buy it when you're young. Bob, you got insurance?
Yeah, I got some insurance. I got something for my coronas too, just in case a bottle break.
Lord have mercy. At least you got insurance. Now, what we don't do when we're on the planet is talk to our spouse. We don't work together. And you have to talk to your spouse about everything. About the bills you pay, about the money that comes in, about the money that goes out. They need to know all the passwords. They need to know all the addresses. Everyone in this marriage needs to know this information. Now, if a family member, and this is a different show, but if a family member goes in there and starts doing that damn chemo, it's very possible that they can forget all this information. It's called chemo brain. And if they get that chemo brain, it's going to be hard as hell to get any information out of them when they're mumbling like a little kid that can't communicate. So it's very important to get all this information out before someone gets sick or ill and can't communicate anymore, because it is hell to try to retrieve all this information if it isn't in one place, in a lockbox, in a safe, organized, so someone can go behind you and look at this information. And that's a separate show. I've seen the drama that a person goes through trying to follow the lead of another person that passed away, that was doing everything without consulting the other person. So you're living comfortably, everything's all taken care of for you, but once they pass away, you've got to do it. None of your family members are going to come over to help you, because none of the family members have came over to help. Once somebody passes away, let me tell you what they do. They come to the funeral, and a lot of them are looking for the repast, so they can go in there and suck down the chicken potato salad and the green beans. And if you don't do the repast, they like to come to your house, dance around, and eat all the food and have a good-ass time and leave, and you don't see them anymore. You're sitting here trying to figure out all these bills with a reduced income. That's the problem. People aren't realizing that the spouse that is left, her income has just been reduced. And unless they have invested and have other options to help her out, she's got to let something go. Because they've been living off of that income for 25 years, 20 years, who knows how many years. And she's been enjoying her husband and having a good time, but now he's gone, and so is his income. She's got to handle it with $2,000, and she just got a $759 electric bill. Now, what is she going to do? You better hope there's some money in that bank account. You better hope there's an annuity. You better hope there's a trust. You better hope there's some money somewhere, because your $3,200 is now $2,000. So $1,200 of that you could have used to pay that $700 electric bill is gone. Gone. And that's why we doing this damn show, so you'll know. Don't say nobody ain't told you. So yes, his benefit stays the same. If the husband's wife passes, guess what? He don't get nothing. So where does all that money go that she invested in all these years? Well, I told you in the beginning. There is no account that all this money goes into. It's a stupid ass pay-as-you-go system. Pay as you go. So all the money you paid into the system goes to all the old white and black folks that have been getting Social Security for years and years and years while your ass was clocking in going to work. You paid for all them suckers. They done got their money and left and died, and here you are now trying to get yours from some young people that don't like to go to work. Why is this benefit the same? Because this system is effed up. It's a stupid ass system and it needs to be revamped. If hers goes up, his should go up too. Why? Because they had two incomes, and two incomes were needed to keep things going. So the higher earning spouse survivors keeps their benefit, but luckily the wife, if she survives, hers moves up to what his was. So if you was getting 1,200, you're getting 2,000, but the downfall is you was surviving off of 3,200, and that's sad. And it's not a benefit to a woman that's been on the planet surviving with a husband with a $3,200 income. This is an extremely sad show because it shows that if we don't get out here and get the knowledge we need, don't wait till your ass gets 70, 80 years old and then you thinking you're going to be living off of X amount of dollars and your husband done passed away, because it's not going to happen unless he put away money and you put away money on top of the Social Security. It is going to be reduced and you're going to have to let some things go. So this bottom line is very simple. Surviving spouses in the past, we were always thinking, wow, you're going to get your Social Security check and your husband's Social Security check. Well, guess what? That's not the case. You're going to get the higher of the two. That means your income is going to go down. And your livelihood and your quality of life is going to be reduced by $1,200 in this situation. That's $1,200 less that you have for Boone's Farm, Mad Dog 2020, and Night Train. Oh yeah, you dipping into the damn liquor fund now with the $1,200 missing. It don't make no damn sense that this is the best that America can do. That goes over to Iran and spends $900 million a day in a war. $900 million a day. You can waste throwing bullets and rockets into a country, and we have this miserable system here to guide us as we work 25 or more years in a company. And unless you invested in that company, which is what I recommend, whatever they have to offer, if they give you $1 for $1, you better invest in that, and you better invest in that heavily, till you have 50 to 100,000 or more to walk out of there with. Don't. Now, every now and then there's a conflict. The 401ks send you a little message. Some do, some don't. But they'll tell you, hey, you can get in your 401 and get some money out with no tax issue. But be careful about that, because it's opportunity to get 10,000 or 15,000 out. But so many things happen in this country where they give you too many opportunities, and you see your balance never grows because you're always taking 10,000 out. When America throws some bombs over there, cause a war, we get attacked because we done beat somebody's ass across the water. They done blew some planes and some towers. Oh, guess what? 401's gonna say, up, you need some money, tax-free option. Yeah, it's there. And then guess what? When they went to invade Iran, the stocks were hit again. The 401s were hit. Anything you invested in dropped. You see, it's this cycle of just taking from the people. That's all they're interested in. They don't care about you and your spouse. They don't care about your quality of life. And if your spouse dies, they don't care. And then to appease you, they're gonna reduce your $3,200 to $2,000. Yeah, he's dead, but here you go. Here's $800 more. Suck it up. suck it up. Welcome to America. Yeah. Unless you prepare and plan, you're going to have to downsize. Unless you prepare and plan, you're going to have to downsize because the math is the math. If it's costing you $3,200 to survive on the planet and your spouse passes away and now you only get $2,000, that's $1,200 you don't have. And if you can't figure out where that $1,200 is going to come from, one of your bills isn't going to get paid. You hear crickets because that's it. There is no special man in a cape, woman with a gold lasso that's going to come help your ass once your husband passes away. Once your wife passes away, you better hope that you work together and invested together versus fought all the time and did nothing but hate each other. Because in the end, when they're gone, it's not going to matter. You could fall down and hit your head. They're not here to help you. They're no longer here to help you. You have to help yourself. You have to help yourself. And that's why we have to sit down and invest our money instead of smoking it up in little papers and getting high. That's why we have to invest our money and put our money away, because you can smoke your life away into your 30s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. But once you get to your 50s and 60s, you see you haven't done enough. And here you are now, 50 years old, 55 years old, and you have nothing to show for but the memories or not of getting high. ZZ109FM, this is Elsie Jenkins. You can see this old lady sitting here looking at all these bills and looking puzzled because her husband's passed away and she's trying to figure out how the hell is she going to pay all these bills with $2,000 a month. When her husband was here, she was getting $3,200 a month and everything was covered. But you see, the United States of America Social Security program has turned your ass over, slapped some Diddy Vaseline in the crack of your booty crack, and has taken it to your ass. Welcome to America. This is Elsie Jenkins. You better wake your ass up. You better figure out something before your ass is like this old lady with her ass crack wide open, slapped with Vaseline, getting done by the United States government. ZZ109FM. Take care. And you old white ladies, y'all ain't immune either. Your asses will be full of Vaseline too. Because when your white husband dies, your ass is in the same damn boat. America don't give a shit what color you are. Have a nice day.